Welcome in. How we doing today? Hey, Thomas. I'm wiping down my counter here. We'll make my customary beginning of stream coffee. And then we'll get into making some dinner with popcorn. Hello, Will. Going to be doing popcorn 3 ways tonight. One of those ways is sort of popcorn the way you traditionally eat popcorn. The other 2 ways definitely not traditional. Well, one of the things with Ingredient Challenge, I do buy the Ingredient Challenge as is, so I will not be popping the popcorn fresh. I have fresh popcorn, but it is not being popped here. This is actually the second time I've had to deal with popcorn. What are you doing awake? You're supposed to go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. Yeah, there you go. Quiet. As Chet wonders what the heck I'm talking to. And why is that so far? There we go. That is not what I want. Thank you for the follow. guess the thing decided to completely turn off. So we're torn with what to start with for the plans for tonight. Bun's here to enter the dinner command right before the pot. Welcome in, Buns. How you doing today? Hopefully you are doing better and not worse. Yes, staying inside where we can breathe air that is not filled with smoke, although it's not smoky in Sonoma. Lots of fire trucks. I'm somewhat convinced it's a tactic of PG&Es when they're under stress to briefly cut power so that anything that isn't necessary, lights that people are just leaving on, yada yada, all gets shut off. Because, I mean, it was like, you know, beginning of peak power time sort of a thing. But yeah, for those that weren't hanging out with me in Minecraft this morning, I lost power this morning briefly for like maybe 2 minutes, maybe a minute, something stupid like that. It's been happening more and more frequently since I've been out here. Welcome in, everyone. Cheers. Thank you for joining me. Let's get rid of the filter. Sort of thinking cookies first. Nope, that's too small a bowl. I didn't want the biggest bowl, but that was too small. I need a better storage system with my bowls now with my new set of glass bowls. Things are getting complicated. I might just dedicate the other side of the Lazy Susan to the other type of bowls. So our dessert is pretty simple as it goes. But we're going to be doing essentially chocolate chippers with the addition of popcorn. Which is sort of awesome because I was sort of in the mood for cookies. I'm not 100% sure what I did for my dessert with popcorn. It might have been like Rice Krispie treats, but with popcorn. I don't remember what I did last time as far as dessert. I know for savory last time that I had it as an ingredient challenge. By the way, popcorn was my first ingredient challenge. And so this is our second time through doing popcorn. The first time I used it in meatloaf. It was okay. So now we got that nicely softened up a bit. Add in some brown sugar here. Probably some regular sugar too. Stay. Hand's coated in sugar, so it's like still need this. Now here's the real question, chat. Do I go all brown sugar? I think I'm gonna do some cane sugar. We'll do brown and cane. I thought about it, Buns. Sorry, I decided against the. Oh, what's that? I just might be. I quite possibly could be. There just possibly is bourbon involved though here too. A little salt. Start preheating our oven. Hey Zeeks, how we doing? What am I forgetting here? Leaveners. Leaveners. That would be some baking powder. Reduced sodium baking powder, because I know we all got to cook with less salt in these quantities. How many servings is this recipe? Servings? This ain't following no recipe here. This is me cooking. We don't do recipes here. The reason, well, I may loosely follow recipes, but I don't I'm not directly following something right now. And I record everything. I started recording and streaming because I was recording everything. Or rather, I started streaming because I was recording everything, because I don't want to write it down. I don't want to spend the time. No, thank you. Semi-sweet chocolate. Awesome, Tim. Well, okay then, lid. Wow. Okay, popcorn first, I think, here. Not suggesting doing the flour first. Let's do the flour first. Let's follow proper procedure here. You know, I'm just gonna dump the. I don't want to get the flour just on the. I'm worried about this getting too thick with the flour in it for the popcorn, but at the same time, I don't want the popcorn with raw flour on it. It's a toughie. And we're going to exactly measure this popcorn here. That looks good. Supposed to be 2 cups of popcorn. Let's switch to a spatula here. Do a little more folding and a little less crushing. The sort of cheat or beauty of putting popcorn in cookies is that they're cooking for such a short period of time that it's going to be hard. Like, in many cases, you're already, when it comes to popcorn and adding it into things, you're adding a puffed, already cooked starch. So it's already full of air that's going to heat up very quickly. And it's already cooked, so it's going to overcook very quickly. And so by coating it with the cookie dough, it's going to help that cook a little bit slower. And we don't cook cookies for that long, so there's less of a chance of it turning into nasty popcorn. Oh, you giving someone sprinkles, Buns? You giving away your sprinkles? That's because it is cookies. I have no idea what the reference is. So your sprinkles are safe with me. Sort of have to loose form these with the popcorn. These gonna have to be some big boys. Not that we do things small here, but yeah, let's do 6. I normally try and fit 8, but I'm worried both of spread and size here. So UHF. Mildly familiar with that one. I don't think I've ever seen it. Alright, so recipe 1 down. Dinner item 1 down. Raw cookie dough. Twinkie and hot dog sandwich with spray cheese. No thank you. I figured. It doesn't make me want it anymore. Alright, starting in on our next. Well, let's just clean up the same bowl and use it again. It'll work well for our meatballs. Oh, wait, I have some shallot, don't I? I do. Wow, that thing just flew apart. Oh, dad joke. See if these center ones are even usable, as small as they're on the edge of being big enough to use. I like that dad joke. That was a good one. Oh, we don't like that one. Or is it too passe? Have we used out the terminal joke? You typed that fine. tortellini. Yeah, tortellini was sort of one of those cooker night meals when I was younger at home. Tortellini, bottle of sauce, done deal. Even better if you had some frozen veggie in there, but you know, young college student. No. I couldn't go that far. It's usually okay, other than the fact that you gotta add more water to the party usually, and that usually. It's sort of funny when you add water to things that are already hot. It will taste much more watered down unless you bring it back up to temp with the water. And so, unless you add the water and then heat it up and then cook the tortellini in it, it tastes watered down to me. One more layer. This one needs to come off. It's just too leathery. I didn't set a timer, did I? I didn't. I'm good at that. I can give these cookies another minute from here. Actually, we can get a pan going for our onions and shallot. The beginning of that joke had my mind going completely other places. Leaving the other one in there for one more minute. This one was on the bottom, so it got better heat. Sort of time to throw the other one on the bottom, but not quite yet. No sizzle at all there. Pan's hot. I was expecting to have to throw that shallot in there immediately. Cook garlic, please. Here's our second batch. This is the one with all the extra batter on it, so it just went all over the place. It's so cool how the popcorn just sort of rocketed itself out of it. Little colored boulders in the middle of our cookies. Probably make some interesting texture differences. Have to give those a minute or two to cool down. Oh, hey, someone that wants to be banned. Then again, they've never been in here before, so I don't really give a fuck about them. Oh, and I beat you to it. Yeah, that's on the list of things for me to do too, is to make a quicker way of doing that too. Just, yep, boop, see ya, bye. So I have to remember to change that afterward. Because the reality is, with something like that, is that was some teenager that hacked some other teenager's account and is trying to get him banned all over the place. Him, her, them banned all over the place. And so it's... Not even that. 2-day-old account. Like, I don't know what the point of that is. Nice, Cosmic. I just wanted to sweat those and lose a little moisture out of them. I wasn't really looking to color them or caramelize them or anything like that. Found a new one. Is that what I read quickly while turning around? You seem to be not having trouble finding places. Sounds like brother and sister are due for a thank you package after this is all said and done. I mean, I can see, yeah, it's a couple hours, probably. I mean, depending on how thoroughly they're looking at stuff for you. Where's the rest of it? Where'd I hide it? Where'd you go? Oh no, it's the PC. I guess we can do this over by the stove. Show chat what I'm doing at the same time. We need some popcorn, but we need popcorn in smaller form than popcorn. So I'm going to chop up some popcorn here. I don't necessarily need a breadcrumb level, but we're turning our popcorn into pop crumbs. Maybe should have stuck with one bag today. I have a whole nother bag of popcorn ready to go, and that's looking like a nice bowl for the bacon and jalapeno. Ooh. That lid was not looking all that clean. Which, you know, it happens in this kitchen without dishwasher for just everything to go through. I'm so envious of dishwasher. Like, I purposely got this home without a dishwasher thinking I'm going to be cooking a lot, the extra dishwasher work, you know, keep me busy, give me something extra to keep active when my business is not running. And yeah, 10 years later, 12 years later, I want a dishwasher again. Mute for this. So now we got our sort of popcorn crumbs. Hey Murph, welcome back. I have no siblings myself either. Hey Master D. We'll add our onions and garlic in there. Okay, so flavorings, some seasoning in here. What is the benefit of cast iron compared to a non-stick? It depends on the two different pans we're specifically talking about, but non-stick typically the surface is nowhere near as durable, although it's a little bit more finicky when you go to clean it. Cast iron's a little more, I mean, you don't clean cast iron like you clean everything else, but it's not hard to clean. It's actually easier to clean, but it's different, so it throws people for a loop. And non-stick is just not good for, like, I'm not saying your use of it is not good for the environment, but the actual production of it, like, if you're thinking about it, like, Teflon is designed not to stick to anything, and the construction of it, they're making it stick to that pan. It's a chemical that never goes away. It's one of those forever chemicals. It's all over the place. Cast iron has much better heat retention. There's a lot of benefits to it. Spices. So what spices are we going in here with our barbecue meatballs? I am thinking, obviously, some garlic. There's already some garlic in there, but with garlic powder. A little cayenne. A little cumin. Okay, a little more cumin. Celery seed. Ancho chili powder. Trying to think what else I want to throw in here. A little tomato paste and mustard, and I think that's probably going to be it. A little Dijon. Alright, now we're getting to just have to get our hands dirty time. Thank you for the follow. Not sure why my sounds aren't firing for that. Oh yeah, that's right. I was returning that sound. I'm changing things on the alerts, at least mostly on the back end, but I don't know how many people remember the bots that were harassing Twitch back in the day, like a year ago or two. The hotspots. I turned off my follow alerts because of them. We're going to be adding them back in to a certain degree. You want to celebrate the additions to the community. Okay, let's see what these cookies are like. We can't let these get completely cold. They actually give quite a bit of chew to the cookie. Sort of an interesting texture. We need to get rid of this autofocus. Yeah, what are you doing here, camera? And do that for the stove too while we're at it here. All right. Chocolate chip cookies, always good. But yeah, you actually get like a little bit of chewiness from the popcorn being in there. You get the nice flavor, and it's a little bit of a different texture from the cookies. I'm sort of unsure of if I think it's a better differential or just different. Like, is it worth it? Like, I think this is an amazing recipe if you have a lot of popcorn to get rid of. Do I think I'm going to suggest people do it if they're going to buy popcorn to do it? I don't know if I want to do that. You get what I mean? Give our egg a little bit of a whisk up before we add it in with our meatballs. I actually like the way the popcorn looks in that. It almost looks like fat. Like, it looks like it's almost marbled with lots of fat. I am also using very low-fat beef to begin with for tonight. We're using only 3% fat, like really low-fat beef tonight. Let's use you tonight. I choose you. Not sure on that one. That one's it's a toughie. That can't be English. That's got to be some other language. For those new to the scramble, there is 1,600 some plus words. I stopped counting after 1,600. And they are multilingual in many different languages there, but they're all loosely on the culinary and food industry. A little small on that last one. I should have known that one. Bit of sunflower oil. By the way, that's what the popcorn is cooked with. Popcorn's cooked with sunflower and canola oil. Probably more canola, but they're advertising sunflower. While that pan is heating up here, we'll start in on our barbecue sauce. We're gonna have to start searing balls before it gets too far, but we can add our ketchup and mustard here. That's good enough start for this. There's not much left in this mustard. There we go. Alright, let's start searing some balls. Nice, Cosmic. I guess it didn't take that, even though a captain is like a position front of house. Cumin, cayenne, garlic, ginger, and a ball turn. brown sugar. And a ball turn. If you're a liquid smoke fan, you can throw a little liquid smoke in there right now. Or maybe some smoked paprika would be great in there. I am going to go for Worcestershire. Anything else I want to throw into this? Can we throw the kitchen sink into our barbecue sauce tonight? Salt, pepper, and MSG, I think we'll wrap it up with. Maybe a hit of Tabasco. Hey, basically. For anyone just walking in, we're working with popcorn tonight. I've already made some popcorn and chocolate chip cookies with bourbon, because why not? We're working on meatballs right now, which those little white specks in there are not fat. Those are bits of popcorn in our meatballs. And then we're going to be switching over and doing our final product as our meatballs do their final cook with a little sauce with them. And we're going to make some bacon jalapeno popcorn to snack on either with our meatballs or later on in the evening. Just getting some nice dark color on these. turn the pan down a little bit since there isn't as much in there anymore. Actually, a little bit more because calibration on that burner is meh. So how you been? How's everyone been? What's new? What's happening with everyone? You're catching stream at sort of a in-between period here. Next month I'm changing things up. We're getting all sorts of stuff changing here next month with my 4th year anniversary of streaming. I have been and going to be continuing to be doing Minecraft streams in the mornings on Kick and YouTube, on top of my 4 days a week cooking here on Twitch. Thank you, Murph. So yeah, if you're just checking back in, I hope you continue to check back in because there's going to be some changes and hopefully change some things. I don't know. It's going to be different. Add a little bit of water to this, just loosen it up a little bit. Well, hopefully work goes well for you. Coffee's done for. I think we're going to call it there. Start tossing these. Heat's off in that pan, but I think I might use that pan for this, so I'm going to throw a little water in there just to help cool it down a little bit. pan is still hot enough that you hearing that sizzle? You seeing that sizzle? It's still that hot in this pan. Hey Noimu, how you doing? Hopefully your Wednesday is treating you well. Now we got these all nicely coated, at least once. I'm going to add a bit more water to this. Like, quite a bit more water to that. Turn our oven back on. Still relatively warm from before, but it's been off since the cookies. And we're going to pour this into the bottom of the pan as a little steam action for while we're cooking. I poured it over those two, but I didn't really mean to pour it over the meatballs. I sort of just wanted it on the bottom of the pan. And the extra water there is, it's intended so that as we cook it, it's going to reduce down, it's going to evaporate water from the sauce, and hopefully that sauce will come back to being just about perfect for our barbecue sauce once I'm done pulling it out of the oven with making our bacon and jalapeno popcorn. That pan is still a bit warm to hold, so we're going to throw that into 350 degree oven, preheating at the moment. Do a little bit of cleanup here. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, bacon. Bacon. One of the few times I am not doing stove bacon. But then again, I'm certainly not doing a whole pack of bacon tonight either. You want to know if someone's knife is sharp? Ask them to cut raw bacon. Does it actually cut through? Like that one almost didn't. Have a good one, Murph. Thanks for stopping by. Give my best to the Blues Brothers. Okay, and jalapeno. Jalapeno. Oh, is that why you came off so easily? Don't know if I trust that lid on those jalapenos. But then again, they're pickled, so. My choice of knife, I don't have one. I've had people ask me that before. I think knife choice is extremely a personal thing because first off, not everyone's got big giant hands like me, and I don't even have that. I've seen people with even thicker sausages going on. I don't have the king's fingers going on. But whether that's true or not, I haven't looked it up or not. It's still funny to me. I have an almost complete set of Wusthof Grand Prix that I got when I was in culinary school and just out of culinary school and maybe heading into culinary school. They have greatly changed since when I've had them. I have no idea what the balance is like on the new ones. I don't know what the hilts are like on the new handle designs. I have them. I'm not saying that's a recommendation because the ones that I have, you're not going to be able to buy. And I've said before, I'm sort of half in the market of getting my own chef's knife here sometime in the future, and I don't know where I'm going to go with it because it's going to be something that I'm going to have to, between balance, weight. I like more of a shorter blade versus a longer one. A lot of it depends on what you're using it for too. If you want a heavier weight one that's going to work for cracking bones, or you want something thin, fragile, and perfectly slicing for making sushi. And so, yeah. Sorry, that's not much of a help, but it's something that I think that you probably don't know for yourself until you've used a knife. Like, for myself, I don't like a 12, I like a 10. I do like a beefier one though, and I don't like a full. I like a full tang, but not a full hilt. It's all preference. It's all what you're using it for. Whether you're trying to clean up, whether you're butchering stuff or. Thank you for the raid, Big Deal Hub. Welcome in, everyone. How we doing this evening? I was just about to heat up some bacon here. I have the task of using popcorn as an ingredient challenge tonight. Welcome in, Must Be TV. Space Does Gaming, welcome back. This is 2 nights in a row now. So we started off by making cookies. These ones are looking a little better. Let's show these ones. Chocolate chip and popcorn cookies. They gave an interesting and nice chew to it. Not 100% if it's, something I would buy popcorn to do though, or make popcorn to do. If you have a bunch of popcorn to use up, I think this is great. We'll say hello to Dan for me as well. All right, let's add our bacon in here. Get that sizzling. Thank you for the sub. Did the alert play for that properly, chat? Maybe it's just delayed. I didn't hear the alert for that. We'll give it a minute to see if it's delayed, otherwise I'll try and replay it, but thank you so much for that sub. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you, Chef. You use this one from earlier. That does, Alfie. Making bacon and jalapeno snacking popcorn. We've got meatballs that I made with popcorn in them, in lieu of, say, breadcrumbs. And those are in the oven cooking through. Yep, we're gonna toss it with the popcorn. This is sort of the simple side dish or after dinner dish for tonight. The main things tonight are the popcorns and the cookies. I'm normally an oven bacon guy, as I was starting to sort of say when I was starting in with the bacon here before we were so pleasantly rated. But when it's just a couple of slices or you're cutting it up like this, stove's better. It's not worth it to get, well, the oven's already hot, but it's not worth it to get the oven hot. We're going to add both of these in with our bacon now. There's some leftover sweet onion and the jalapeno. I dripped some water in there off of my hand. Bacon goes with everything. Just about everything. There's a few things out there. But actually, to be frank with chat, I've been sort of burnt out on bacon lately. I've actually been sort of burnt out on bacon and on heavy chocolate too, dark chocolate. Not that I don't think that they're wonderful. They've just been, I don't know, I guess they've been a little overpowering to me lately. Yeah, speaking of that, I don't see anything set up here in town. Usually on the 4th they have, like, at the same time we have signs up all over town all the time on the 4th, you know, no fireworks allowed in the county, that sort of a thing. But at the same time, we still usually have local clubs and stuff, like, in several of the cities here, selling, like, kiddie fireworks, you know, the safety fireworks, or I don't know. Apparently some fireworks are safe to use. And they don't seem to be around this year. I don't see them, because usually it's a month or two that, like, whatever company that they're arranging it through, or whatever company is working with these charities or local clubs or stuff like that, they usually dump a like cargo container in several parking lots like a month ahead. Vegan stuff doesn't have to taste bad. The problem is in order to make it good, you sort of have to shop special for it. And usually it's much more pricey because, I mean, let's be honest, let's look at a supermarket. The vegetables are more expensive. My earbud's quiet on me again, so I'm going to try and fix my audio on my earbud here real quick. Yep, it's magically reduced itself down to 40%. There we go. Let's see here. Is it... There we go. That's not the same alert that I'm used to having there. But greatly appreciate the sub. Thank you so much for joining in on that. Again, toying with things with alerts. A lot of things are working for the stream tonight sort of situation. And that's the way it's been actually for the last couple of nights. I also see a lot of them just immediately jump into using lots of heat or other things. Like, they won't use hot sauce, but they'll put like tons of harissa, or it'll be the same sort of, like, they'll overpower everything with some powerful, potent flavor that people like, and it won't actually be like a flavorful meal itself. And then, of course, because we all know that this looks entirely way too healthy at this point. Because we don't want this so hot going onto the popcorn, I'm cutting the heat on the pan now. The carryover heat will more than melt this butter. Actually, I'm a little worried the carryover heat will hold this warm for too long. Sort of deglazing with butter here. How do I know? I hate that it sometimes cuts that off. How do you keep the lens from getting fogged up? I don't. It doesn't really get fogged up at the same time, but I don't do anything. I occasionally wipe it down with alcohol, which is probably wonderful for it. I treat my kitchen equipment I treat my computer equipment nicely. At least I think I do. My kitchen equipment, I've sprayed this thing down with a hose. Yeah, things get dirty here. I just... Now that is a scrambled word. Is it cannibalization? Dirty station, dirty mind, Hammock. My kitchen is not that clean right now. Yeah, you're right. But that's how it sort of gets here. I don't do a ton of cleaning on stream. I clean up the kitchen and start the kitchen clean. I give that 1 minute longer in here to cool down from that cast iron pan. It depends. Like at home, I'm totally cool with the idea of destroying the kitchen and cleaning it up. When it comes to commercial kitchen, no, keep cleaning, because it's either going to slow you down from getting orders out on time, or you're going to leave the place a mess and stay around forever, which I don't want to pay you for. So I appreciate the analogy there, Hamhog. That works pretty well. It's also a good name. I appreciate the name Ham Hawk. I like me a good hawk. Hawk meat is some of the best meat out there. I think a lot of people eat hawk. I've mentioned this before too. I think a lot of people eat hawk meat and have no idea. A lot of those vacuum packed barbecue, like commercial sous vide products, you know, you just reheat them, microwave in a bag sort of a deal. They're already pre-cooked. A lot of those actually have hawk meat in them. If you taste them, the flavor, you can tell the texture. All right, let's make some popcorn. again, going with the restaurant, you don't have time, you don't care. You're just gonna go with that. But I'd rather not be cleaning pork fat off my ceiling and walls tonight. So. We'll sprinkle salt, as if, there wasn't enough salt with the bacon. I have a feeling my Uncle Norman would approve of this dish. If he was still around to approve of it. Popcorn, anyone? How about some meatballs? A little freeze-dried parsley. I just tried to bit my tongue. I was somewhat successful at trying to, too. Alright, folks, let's take some photos. As always, photos will be up in the Discord a little bit. I'll also have a new ingredient challenge up in the Discord later tonight for you to vote on for next week's challenge. Yeah, let's just throw a little in there. We don't really have a composed plate tonight. We just have a bunch of good food. Just a bunch of yummy food. So what's chat think? Do I pass the grade for using popcorn as an ingredient tonight? Morning, Adavac. Welcome back. What's chat think of the idea of popcorn in your cookies? I think it turned out pretty well. Myself. It wasn't what I expected at the same time, though. So it sort of threw me off when I first bit into it. But it had a nice chew to it. It was actually really nice. Meatballs I think are gonna be awesome. This is great. You just have to worry about how much fat you're adding and eating it before it all goes soggy. Oh yeah. So Friday. Let's see here, let's pull up the calendar. This here would be onion, jalapeno, and bacon and butter tossed popcorn. Doing Korean style or Korean-esque appetizers all next week, since I start my weeks here on Friday. So starting off on Friday, we're going to be doing scallion pancakes, Korean meatballs. We're doing more meatballs. I should have thought about that before making meatballs tonight, but we're revisiting meatballs on Friday. And corn cheese. That's one you might want to Google. If you haven't had it or haven't seen it before, you might want to take a look at that one. I just had to try it. After I saw it, I was like, okay, we're doing that. Got crispy zucchini pancakes on Sunday, along with Korean fried chicken. And we're going to wrap up the week with kimchi quesadillas, and what else is on Tuesday? Kimchi quesadillas and Korean beef tacos. So, greatly hope you come by next week. Always got the ingredient challenges on Wednesdays. Like I said, I'll have the vote up for that here in the near future. Got a bunch of new surprises coming up here for next month. Changing all sorts of stuff around. I see changes. I'm trying to keep things largely the same, but I'm changing lots of stuff in the background. We're going to be changing some cameras. There might be some new camera stuff maybe. I'm debating other things that I'm going to do heading into the next month. We're also going to have, I'm just remembering now, I've told the mods about an idea I had that we're going to be doing too that I haven't even done any planning for. So I hope you come back and hang out with me. I hope you have a great evening. Let's see who's out there tonight. It's looking sort of quiet out there tonight. I was actually seriously looking for someone to raid tonight, and I'm not seeing much out there. So I think I'm going to be calling it right there. I hope you all have a lovely evening. Good night.